guys, Meredith with ExtremeTerrain.com, and today we are checking out the Rough Country 1.5-inch front leveling kit fitting all 2024 and newer four-wheel drive Toyota Tacomas, excluding the Trail Hunter and the TRD Pro models. Now, the factory rake can be unflattering to the truck, and the stock wheels and tires also have the ability to do that, but adding this is a simple and affordable way to allow you to transform that appearance. Now, this will be a perfect choice for the Tacoma owner who doesn't want to get too involved in their suspension, but does want to raise the front end to comfortably fit a 33-inch tire, get some better front end clearance, and define the stance of their truck better than its previous rake state. A leveling kit, even a smaller one like this, can offer a number of benefits for your truck. First and foremost, it says in the name, this is going to level your truck, bringing up the front end to even out your stance, which results in a more eye-catching appearance and will increase your front end ground clearance at the same time for the ability to get over obstacles and hazards that you may have previously hit. Now, this will also open up room in the wheel wells to fit a 33-inch tire better than the stock stance could, giving the tire more room for up travel and articulation. I do want to call out that some 33s, depending on the wheel and offset, may require some minor trimming or removal of the air dam in order to avoid rubbing, so just keep that in mind while you're picking out your wheels and tires. These will be simple, made of a tough steel construction, powder coated to protect the steel underneath from rusting over time. I also do want to mention that these spacers are roughly 1 inch tall, and most spacers like this are usually not 1-to-1, but paired with the suspension geometry and the spring compression after the installation, it's going to measure out to a full 1.5-inch lift. It will also come with all of the hardware needed for install. However, keep in mind that there is a minor modification for your factory studs required, and we'll show you how to do that in just a minute. This will come in at about $150 and will be one of your most affordable solutions for leveling your Tacoma. And it's going to give you enough lift to fit a larger tire and get the benefits of a level without compromising your ride quality in the meantime. Now, I personally think if easy and affordable is what you're looking for out of a leveling kit, then this is going to be a great choice for you. This will be a 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and while I do say it's easy, I do say it relatively. Compared to other kits, it is going to be much more straightforward, but will still require some mechanical know-how in order to do it. Now, this will take you about 3 hours to get the job done with the right tools and setup, and it's never a bad idea to take your truck to a local shop in order to get suspension work done. However, at this point, we can head over to our shop and check out a detailed breakdown, whether you're doing this yourself or just curious about the install. So that is going to wrap it up for me. Let's jump into it.
For this install, you will need an impact, various ratchets, 3/8 1/2-inch adapter if necessary, 15, 17, 19, 22, and 24 millimeter sockets, a 14 millimeter wrench, a breaker bar, and also not shown here is a spring compressor and a jack and jack stands or a pole jack. What's up, guys? Today we're going to be installing a leveling kit on our Tacoma, so let's get started. Alrighty guys, so we've got the truck in the air, and to install this kit, we're going to need to remove our front struts. So to do that, we're going to start by removing the bolt for our sway bar end link. So we'll grab a 19 mil socket on our impact, pop that out real quick. So go ahead and remove this. Set that aside. Next, we'll go ahead and remove the nut for our lower strut mount bolt. So we'll grab our 22 mil socket on our impact to do that. Set that aside. Then we can come to this side and remove our strut mounting bolt itself. So we'll go ahead and pull this bolt out. So next we can go ahead and loosen our nuts for our lower control arm bolts. And to do that, we're going to grab our 24 mil socket on our breaker bar. Now, your eccentric adjusters should be held in place by the actual nut with them. These are just retainer nuts. We're going to go ahead and loosen up just slightly. We don't need to remove them. So we'll grab our 24 mil socket on our breaker bar and go ahead and break these loose. You just want to loosen them until they start to feel easy to turn. You don't need to loosen them too much. So we'll go ahead and loosen our other one up now. So next we're going to go ahead and remove the 2 bolts holding our lower ball joint mount in place. So we'll grab our 22 mil socket on our impact to do that. We also have a pole jack underneath our control arm. This is just going to help us lower it down slowly and also bring it back up once we go ahead back in with this. So go ahead and pop these off. So now we'll go ahead and lower this down. And you want to drop your pole jack, or if you're doing this on the ground, a floor jack will also work pretty well. So we'll go ahead and give that a good bit of room. And watch your hands. Just go ahead and slowly pull this down. That's going to give you the room you need. Now we can go ahead and remove the 4 upper strut mounting nuts using our 14 mil wrench. Once you crack them loose, you want to run them pretty good ways out. Now once we have these loose, we can go ahead and support our strut and go ahead and remove all of them. We'll let our strut drop down like so. Then we can go ahead and get our strut out. Now you may need to move your hub and knuckle around a little bit to get it to come all the way down. Once you do so, be able to fish it right out of there. Then once you have this side out, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side. Alrighty guys, so we're ready to install our spacers onto our strut here. Now the first thing we're going to do is install the new studs into our spacers. So you'll notice if you come to the bottom of your spacer here, you have one set of holes that is significantly larger than the rest. And what we're going to do is drop those studs down through that. Go ahead and get those pretty much flush with our top mounting point here. Then we're going to grab our provided jam nut and then our 17 millimeter nut. Go ahead and spin that on hand tight at first and get it pretty snug. And then you can take your 17 millimeter socket on an impact or a ratchet, whichever you prefer. Go ahead and tighten this down to pull this stud into its seat. And once you have that all the way seated, go ahead and pull your nut off. Then we'll do the same thing for the other 3 studs. Now we can go ahead and install our spacer onto our top hat here. Now you'll notice there's a little slot cut into our spacer, and then there is a tab on the top hat. And what we're going to do is line our slot up to the right side of our tab here, and that's pretty much the exact side where it fits. Now it is recommended with this kit that you shave down your factory studs to the end of the threaded portion. Although that is not completely necessary to install the kit, we're not going to do that for demonstration purposes. If you want to at home, that's totally fine. But you do have room in this top hole to go ahead and leave your full stud on. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get this just through onto our studs. Then we're going to grab our factory 14mm flange nuts. Go ahead and line those up on our studs. We'll get all of those started. So if you come just to the top here like this, you can hook that nut on. Get it started. And we'll go ahead, get these run down. And once you have your nuts all the way down, you'll notice that it will seat fully onto the studs. Then we can grab our 14mm wrench and go ahead and tighten down these factory nuts. So now that we have this installed, we're going to need to go ahead and use our spring compressor to relieve the tension on our top hat. We don't need to fully disassemble anything. We just need to compress the spring enough to be able to clock the top hat, because you notice these studs are offset and you want it to line up at its factory mounting position. So what you're going to want to do is take a paint pen or a piece of tape or something and mark your factory stud position on your spring. Ours is already marked, obviously. So we'll go ahead and take it over to the spring compressor, compress that down, move our top hat with the new stud in the factory mounting reference point. Then we'll go ahead and relieve the tension, bring it back in and install it. Now we're going to be using a wall mount compressor. If you don't have access to one of those, you can easily rent one from an auto parts store as a handheld clamshell type, something like that. So we'll go ahead and do that now. Alrighty guys, so we've got our strut set up in our compressor here. Now we're just grabbing onto the springs because we don't want to interfere with turning our top hat. So we'll go ahead and compress this down, clock our top hat, release the tension, and then we can go on to the truck. We have our new stud lined up with our mark. Now we're ready to go on. So now we can go ahead and reinstall our strut. So we're going to send it back up through exactly where it came out and go ahead and loosely install our new provided flange nuts for our top mounting studs here. Go ahead and get everything else in place and we'll tighten everything down. We'll loosely install our flange nuts. So now we're going to go ahead and get our lower strut mounting bolt back in first. So we're going to use our pole jack to go ahead and bring our control arm back up into position. Now, one thing you want to keep in mind while doing this is you don't want anything to interfere with your control arm going up, including your dust shield here. It does get pretty close to your ball joint. So you can just pull out on your hub and go ahead and push this up into position. Now once this lines up with your strut, you can go ahead and grab your factory bolt, line that back up, work it back into position, and get that all the way back through. And we'll go ahead and install the nut. Now we'll go ahead and just hand tighten this for now. So just keep it from going anywhere. Then we'll get our 2 lower control arm ball joint bolts back in place. Go ahead and get these started. So make sure both of our bolts are good and started. That way we don't mess up any of our threads going back in. Then we'll go ahead and tighten these back down with our 22 mil socket on our impact. You do want to alternate your tightening so this comes back up evenly. And we'll tighten our strut mounting nut up. Now we can reinstall our sway bar end link mounting bolt. Now one thing to note about the end links is you want to wait until you have both sides done, because if not, one side's going to be pushing down while the other one's still in the factory position. So we'll go ahead and reinstall that now. Then we'll tighten it back down with our 19 mil socket. Next we can tighten back down our lower control arm nuts. Again, using our 24 mil socket, but this time we'll use a ratchet as opposed to a breaker bar. Now we'll go ahead and fully tighten down our upper mounting nuts here using our 15 mil socket on a ratchet. Then once you have this complete for this side, you can go ahead and do the same thing for the other side, and always remember to refer to your manufacturer torque spec for all of your hardware.
So that is going to wrap it up for my review and the install of the Rough Country 1.5 inch front leveling kit fitting all 2024 and newer 4-wheel drive Toyota Tacomas, excluding the Trailhunter and TRD Pro models. And you can find this right here at extremeterrain.com.